Hey everybody, JRreviewgamer here with another video game, or extreme video game review, I guess you could say. Don't know why. So the next game I'm going to do, guys, it's another Yu-Gi-Oh game, more of a newer one. We're going straight from the Game Boy Advance to the Nintendo DS. Today we're going to review Yu-Gi-Oh! Nightmare Troubadour. Um, this is one of the first games made for the Nintendo DS, Yu-Gi-Oh! Wise, not the very first one. I believe this game came out about 2005, so we're probably talking about maybe 2 or 3 years after the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Duel Academy came out. This one's actually kind of interesting because I always saw this game in the stores, and I could never buy it because I never had a DS. But when I first got DS, this is one of the first games I tracked down because it did seem like an interesting game when I saw it. Basically, it kind of revolves more around the Yu-Gi-Oh! Battle City season, kind of. It's got all the characters and villains from that season. It's got your basic characters. It's got Yugi, the Pharaoh, Joey, Taya, Tristan, Bakura, Kaiba, Merrick, Ashizu, Odeon. All the characters from that season. Basically, the objective is in this game is you're entered in different tournaments to become the best tournament. And along the way, I mean, you bump into some rare hunters, some goons that want to take your rare cards or send you to the Shadow Realm. And eventually, it also goes into where you're trapped in the virtual world with Noah and Ghostboro Kaiba and the Big Five, and you gotta duel all of them. And then after that, it then goes into where you gotta find Merrick Ishtar and battle his dark side. And that's pretty much the final battle there, is you against Merrick. So it's kind of interesting. It's got kind of a few walkthroughs if you think about it. I mean, you got the Big Five to face, you got Merrick to face, you got Kaiba's tournament. So it's got a lot, definitely. The one thing that kind of bugged me about this was the graphics again. The graphics in this game, they weren't bad, but for a DS game, again, I was expecting a little bit better. But I mean, this was probably, I'm guessing, probably one of the first DS games, I would think. So, I mean, maybe they were just messing around with the graphics, but definitely they could have done a little bit better. I know the evil spirit of the ring, Yami Bakura, or Zork, as we know him, the way he looked in the game was very, very different from all the other games I've seen. Like even like Yu-Gi-Oh! Capsule Monsters for the PS2, Yu-Gi-Oh! World Championship 2004 for the Game Boy Advance. I mean, even when they kind of imaged the evil spirit of the ring back then, it actually looked like him. But this game, far from it, very far from it, didn't look like him at all. Seto Kaiba was kind of the same thing too. I mean, in my opinion, when I looked at him in this game, he didn't look the same as he did in the other Yu-Gi-Oh games. So but I'm not saying everyone looked different in this game. I mean, there are some characters they did very well in this game, like Yugi, the Pharaoh, Shizu, Pegasus, Noah, like all of them they did good. But there were a lot of other characters so that they just didn't make that good. Like Ghostboro Kaiba was kind of different too from the TV series. So I mean, graphics wise, not my most favorite thing. Dueling wise, it wasn't bad though. I mean, the monster animations were good because I think this is the game that first started the monster animations, I believe. So those were very good. The selection of cards were very good because I believe this was also the first game where you got to use the Egyptian god cards, which is kind of cool. The thing I don't like about it though with the god cards is with all the Yu-Gi-Oh decks, you got to use one banned card in your deck. I mean, that can really help because you can use like Monster Reborn, Pot of Greed, Graceful Charity. I'm sure all of them are still banned. I haven't kept up with the list. But the thing with it is the God cards are also banned. And I know in the final level, when you face Merrick, you have to use your God card to beat him. So basically, it's telling you, hey, guess what? That one free banned card, yeah, we're telling you which one to use. Which kind of sucks because, I mean, cards that are banned like Monster Reborn or Pot of Greed, they can really help you. But, nope, you got to use the God card for that one. And you actually get to choose which God card you want. Before you face Merrick, you face off against the Shizu, I believe, and if you beat her 3 times, I think, she gives you a choice of power or, I think it's power or wisdom, I think, and you pick one. And I believe if you pick power, you get Obelisk the Tormentor, and if it's wisdom or something like that, you get a Slave for the Sky Dragon. But the good thing with that is you can also switch your God card anytime you want. I know whichever God card you pick, the Pharaoh or Atem, he gets the other God card. And if you duel him, there are times where he'll trade you his God card for yours if you want. So you can switch Slifer for Obelisk or Obelisk for Slifer, I believe, whichever way. I believe you can do the same thing with Raw as well, but I'm not 100% sure because I've dueled Merrick a couple times. I've never been able to get him to trade his Winged Dragon of Ra, but from what I've seen, like I've looked up cheats and all that, and from what I've seen, you can get the Winged Dragon of Ra. Personally, I've never been able to get it yet, but I have seen it is possible. Other than that, there's not really much else to say. I mean, it's got that kind of day and night scenario where if you're traveling throughout the city and eventually the scenery kind of goes dark, or when it's turning to night and it gets brighter when it turns back to day. During the day is when you're safe. That's when you face all the normal duelists like Yugi, the Pharaoh, the nice Bakura, Tristan Taya, Kaiba, Joey, all those guys. But then when it goes to nightfall, that's when you face all the people or the hunters that want to take your rare cards, or all the bad guys. That's like Pegasus, Para, Dox, Arcana, Seeker, Strings, Odeon, the Evil Spirit of the Ring, Zork, a whole bunch of people. So it's kind of interesting. You're going from that nice sunny day to the darkness where you're playing a shadow game with everyone. So it is fairly interesting. Other than that, there's not really much else to say about this game. It's an okay game. It's probably a game I play, I think maybe once or twice a month. It's only if I'm really bored, and I have no other Yu-Gi-Oh games to play. I might stick this one in. It wasn't as exciting as I thought it'd be, but it was definitely a challenge, though. Definitely a challenge. So I am glad I got the game, but I wasn't as thrilled with it as I thought I would be. So rating wise, out of 10, I would probably give this game certainly not a perfect 10. I would say maybe 6.5 out of 10. And a lot of those points are kind of, again, because of the graphics. The graphics they just didn't impress me that much. They could have done a lot better with a lot of the characters to make them look like they would have been on TV. But a lot of them, they failed. I think the only characters they probably did good at making were pretty much just the Pharaoh and Yugi. That's pretty much it. Those are the only 2 characters that were really made the best, at least in my opinion. So a lot of points coming off for images, but if you do come across the game, I would get it. It is challenging, I will say that. It's definitely worth a shot playing. So on that, guys, that does it for this review, and I'll see you next time. Take care, guys.